Guys, welcome to Trading in the Trenches. Today is Monday, September 1st, 2025, and this is my weekly stock analysis. Alright, first I want to just start with some news. So tomorrow we got some news coming out, 10 a.m. ISM Manufacturing PMI. What is that? Institute for Supply Management, alright? So it's a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and the purchasing managers hold perhaps the most current and relevant insight into the company's view of the economy. It's a survey of about 300 purchasing managers, okay? And it asked them to rate the relative level of business conditions, including employment, production, new orders, prices, supplier deliveries, and inventories. So some good insight into how the economy is actually doing. That's tomorrow. Wednesday, we got the JOLTS job openings. Why do traders care about this stuff? Job creation is an important leading indicator of consumer spending. All right. So this talks about consumer spending. That's Wednesday. Thursday, we're going over unemployment claims. ISM Services PMI again. And then Friday, we got our average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rates. That's for this week. We got some news coming up next week as well. We got PPI, CPI, consumer sentiment, inflation expectations. All right, some heavy stuff over the next 2 weeks. September is historically known as the worst month for trading. So expect some volatility, expect some chop, and just make sure you plan your trades and trade your plan. All right, so first up on the list, we have ALAB. Monthly chart is yet to develop. Counter channels. On the weekly chart, this thing is right up here, right? It's been hugging this area, so even though the price is up here extended, excuse me, it's been holding this level for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? So this is a pretty good sign. Let's see on the daily chart. Price is looking relatively strong. It's holding here right now above the 8 EMA. It's awesome. All right. So let's see ANET or ANET monthly. It's got some space between 3 ATR and where the price is currently. Weekly has a little bit of space as well, and the daily. So ANET has space to run, and price is actually underneath the point of control. Point of control is where there's a lot of traders positioned, buyers, sellers. APH. So APH has been running. Wow. Let's see this. Stock is up 99% in about 4 months. All right, 122 days. That's awesome. So this thing is currently in the buy zone. We got some squeezes down here, and the trend is up, right? Price is going from the bottom left of the screen to the top right of the screen. This is an uptrend. All right, let's check out AVGO. AVGO is also on an uptrend, right? This thing's a monster. This is April, from April to now. Stock is up 115%. Same amount of time, right? 122 days. So this thing's a killer. Let's see. We got some squeezes on the daily. Prices in the buy zone. And look, we have earnings coming up this week on Thursday. So this would be interesting for a trade for this week. Perhaps picking up AVGO between here 293, 297. excuse me, and seeing what happens with price action between now and Thursday. I like that idea. All right, BLBD. So the monthlies got about $5 of space. The weekly is fully extended, and the daily is just coming off the counter channel up here at the top, 3 ATR. So I'm probably gonna take this one off the list. Okay, so CG has some space, right? $10 between where the price is and the 3 ATR. This one's got $4 on the weekly, and on the daily there's also some room. So CG's got about $3 of upside on the daily. So I like that. And they just beat earnings. So we got an earnings winner. We got a daily chart setup, squeezes. Ideally, we want to pick this thing up down here between 61.34 and 62.98. GE. GE. Similar to AVGO, right? This thing's on the tear. It's only up 72%, but still. What a move. Okay. So this name also beat earnings. All right. Stock was trending higher, came down, it's consolidating. We got squeezes. And the buy zone would be what? 266 to 270 is the ideal buy zone. And the momentum is bullish. You see the bars were going down, red, 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 and now the bars are yellow, yellow, yellow. So this is really good. I like this one. We got a nice clean chart, positive momentum. And look, all-time highs is right up here at what is that? 289.52. Let me put on my 100% so we can see that. All right, 289.52. All right, I like that. And that would be right in between TP1 and TP2, all-time highs. I like this a lot. 3 ATR is right about up here, right? 287. So GE looks great for a play here to take out these all-time highs. All right, IDXX. This thing's also right up here next to all-time highs. All-time highs is 706.95. So this thing just broke over this resistance, right here, 590, was rejected a few times, and finally this month we broke on over. All-time highs is right up here, 706.95. And the daily is starting to develop a squeeze, right? We got our first red dot here on Friday's close. So this looks really good. Ideally, I want to pick this up between 611, 629 down here, and ride it up to set new all-time highs. They obviously beat earnings, right? Look at this huge jump. What is this percentage-wise? 28% jump in 3 days. So that's awesome. I like that. All right, we got MasterCard here. I love MasterCard. Great company. They have essentially monopolized their industry. And This chart is mega bullish, right? It just doesn't stop running higher and higher. So let's look in deeper. Here we go. So we got 195 set up. We got some news. MasterCard awarded its media account to WPP, valued $180 million in annual spend. Citing WPP's global reach, advanced AI, and data capabilities as essential for enhancing market impact. Like, so MasterCard's over here partnering up with different companies, making sure they stay relevant in 2025. I also know that MasterCard has about 2,000 cryptocurrency or blockchain patents. So that might not be too well known, but MasterCard does have a lot of patents when it comes to blockchain technology. So they are absolutely going into the future. I'd like to pick this up right here at the point of control, about 590. You know, just slightly above the 21. Ideally right down here, 585, 582, 583. But this is the all-time high right here. So 601. All right, ideally picking it up down here and riding this thing up to 605 plus. Last time when MasterCard broke over 500, it took a while for it to run up to like 550. So if it has the same or similar behavior, it may take a while to run up into the 600s, but it is setting up and it does look good here. All right, so let's actually look at some contracts for GE. What is that? GE and MasterCard. I think these were my favorite looking charts. Yeah. And then I'll go over these last three names I have here on my watch list. Okay, so for GE, again, we got the daily chart, daily squeeze. Lots of volume here. Ideally, I would pick it up right in between here, about 268. So I'm gonna say entry under 269. Let's make this bigger. Okay. I want to stop out underneath this point of control, so about 263. Stop loss 263, and then take profit. New all-time highs. We're going to call that 290 plus. All right, and then for some actual targets, we got 286, 292, and 300. Being that GE has never crossed over 300, that would be my ideal target. I feel like when securities get close to these psychological numbers, they just tend to gravitate there. So we're going to need some time on this contract. Let's see what we can get over here. GE. Ideally, for a daily chart, I want to find at least 30 days. These spreads are pretty ugly, though. What I would do, I would do I would feel comfortable. Let's see what a vertical spread looks like. I need some. Here we go. So 250 is risking. This would be risking one to get one. Let me explain that real quick. So this is a vertical spread. The strikes are 5 wide, meaning $5 difference, right? $5 apart, 275 to 280 is $5. If you pay 250, the max you can earn on it is the width of the spread, which would be $5, minus the premium paid, which is 250. So essentially you're risking the 250 to make 250, a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Being that the target is 300. Let's see what this looks like if I make it a little bit wider. See, so now it's a 10 wide, and it doesn't cost $5. Now it costs $4.28. So you're risking one to make a little bit more than one. $6. What's it? $3. 25 wide. I like this one. It's not bad. $37. All right, so I might do something like that. 10 wide, 290 to 300. So, what was that? October 3rd. So we're gonna call this a vertical spread. 10-3, 290, no, 300 by 290 calls at 199 or better, risking $2 to make $3. All right, so this is GE. I like that setup. Let me see if there's setups everywhere on this thing. Let's see. So there's some smaller time frame setups which are pretty cool. Got this 45-minute setup here. I like that. To play the 45-minute one, I would do the September 18th series. These things are a little spready still, but these 280s are not too bad. Let's see, 30 cent bid-ask spread. Yeah, I like those. It's about $5, 9.19, 280 calls. So that's another way to play this thing. So this is to play the daily. Daily chart. Can play 45-minute setup. Honestly, could also probably do these. No, I don't like that. So I can play the 45-minute setup. 919, 280 calls at $5 or less. Oh. Take profit. New all-time highs. We're gonna call it 290 plus. Stop loss was, let's see something. So for the 45 minute, you're going to be looking at 278 plus, and stopping out, I'd probably stop out underneath 273. So if the price started falling and closing down here, then I would stop out. Okay. Just real quick. This is the POC. This is not terrible. Not a terrible entry. It's about risking $1 to make $1.46. 273, 280, 278. So 278 plus 273. All right. So we got a daily chart set up, and we got the 45-minute chart set up. All right. Let's go to MasterCard. This was on the 195, yes. So this thing just got rejected here, and then it got bought up, which means that it may not come back down. I don't know. But that is interesting. The buying pressure was up. So ideally, so we're gonna say playing the 195 chart. Ideal entry is gonna be 589 or lower. Let's call it 588 and lower. Take profit. New all-time highs. That's going to be 601.78. And stop loss is going to be under 585. Okay. That was a 195, so let's see what these contracts look like. Kind of spready. I don't like that. So I think I'm gonna do something similar. Let's see what a vertical spread looks like here. Yeah, so 6 by 605 or 605 by 6, 270. 610 by 6, 455. I like that. I like that. So how are we gonna play this? With a vertical spread. So I like the 10, 3, 610 by 600 at what, 455? Yeah, at 455 or less. Alright. And is this thing squeezing on lower time frames? Let's see. That 130 looks good. $78 looks good. Okay, so I would use the same, similar parameters anyways. So you could also trade the 130. I'll type it out for you guys, just in case you want to do the 130 chart. I would do an entry between 588 and 591. Take profit would be the same, essentially 601 plus, and the stop loss would be under 588. Alright. So if price comes down here and starts closing down here, I want out before it does something like that. Alright, so we got our two setups. We got one in MA and GE. Now, these last three names here, these are all, these are all silver names, precious metals. So they're all extended because silver's on a tear right now. I see over here, silver is at $41. Silver has been moving. This thing looks like it just closed the gap here. Look at this. Boop. So who knows what's going to happen with that, but that's interesting. So yeah, silver's on a tear, and I was looking for ways to play it. So AGQ just got over this major resistance point, right? It was resistance once, resistance twice, came down, and now it's above it. Excellent. Next stop would be up here around 70, and then 86. HL, look at this thing. Oh my goodness. From last month to this month, this thing is up 55%. So that's exactly why this thing's on my watch list. Those nice explosive moves. This thing's just gunning. All right. It's got some stuff going on over here. It's got all this space up to 40. I don't know that it's going to do that per se, but it is moving. And I would like to get in on some sort of pullback or something. Yeah. There's no real setups right now. It's just bumping. Same thing with WPM. Even though this thing is squeezing, and it just got a new, it just got positive momentum. We were going down red, now we got yellow. So this is awesome. We got positive momentum. This gap here is closed. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know silver's killing it, and this thing just got above major resistance here at 99. So if it can close above this, or stay above this rather, right? It already closed above that. But if it can stay above 99, then we may have some really bullishness. A lot of bullishness happening. So this thing looks like it's going to be setting up soon. We got a little setup here that already fired. Right? on this little 5-minute chart. You know, I love this. I'd love to come up in here tomorrow morning, price be hanging out in this area and pick something up. Let's see, WPM. And because it's a 5-minute chart, I can just come right here and grab these 102s or these 100s, right? Little 15-cent spread. And let this thing run up a little bit higher. But what's really interesting is silver itself. So this is something I was just noticing the other day. I wanted to share with you all. So this is 1979 to 1980. So July of 79, silver started pumping. And it pumped all the way to January of 80. Okay? So that's approximately 183 days, 97%. Oh, look at this. This is 2007. 2007, July to January 2008. That's interesting. Another 183 days, silver pumps 47%. Oh, look, this is 2010, July. This time, the rally continued up until April of 2011. So instead of 183 days, right, or it did 80 or 79% in those 186 days, and then 124% between July and April of the following year. Here's another one. We got this thing starting in July. And by January, it was up at the peak, 51%, 187 days. And now here we are in 2025. Okay. So far this month, we're up 14%. If you look at this huge bullish candle from April, we're up 46% silver in 91 days. Now I think that silver is going to keep climbing and continue that pattern. And essentially it's going to run into next year. Now this is a quarterly chart or 3-month chart, right? It's a 3-month chart on TradingView. It's a quarterly chart on Thinkorswim. We had squeezes. They started firing, right? We got the RSI in overbought territory. And this is a energy indicator, and it's showing that the energy is being released. Okay, so we got a lot of things lining up. Over here, silver was firing essentially on this momentum indicator. The RSI was overbought and the energy was going down and exerted, and you see price went up all the way up and hit that level. So essentially my idea is that the same thing is going to happen again, right? We had squeezes, it's firing now, right? They went from red to black here. They were black here and then green. We got the RSI, we had the RSI, momentum going down, momentum or energy rather being expended and energy being expended. We got this beautiful cup here. I'm willing to bet that silver's gonna continue its pattern, historic pattern going back all the way to 79, right? When it made this high of $50. And I'm willing to bet it's gonna take it out. The next target up here it would be $60. And I don't think that silver is going to have such a huge retracement as it has done previously, only because the state of the world is changing, right? There's a lot of things going on in the news with minerals, and so it's just interesting to see. And these stocks that I'm watching, they happen to also have options on them that go out, a ridiculous amount of time. Really, the sweet spot for me is going to be just this January, March window, right? Because as we saw in the charts, sometimes the run goes up until April. So what I'd like to do is come up in here, open up this March series, and go long one or all of these names. So AGQ, right? It's got some nice contracts. HL, these are beautiful. HL, I love these because the premium is very, very low. So you can come up in here and these spreads are super tight as well. So you could come up in here, get these $10 calls for 85, 86 cents. Gives you 200 days of time and essentially let this thing run with silver into April. All right. So this is the idea that I have. I really, really love this idea. WPM, same thing. Super tight spreads, 50-cent spread. WPM is one that's a bit exhausted, right? This thing's RSI has been overbought for a while. This energy has been expended. So that's going to be something different. But HL price is nowhere near its 3 ATR. It's still squeezing. It's got a lot of energy, fully charged, and similar to AGQ, right? Bullish momentum, right? We went over this. Red bars to yellow bars. This one's not overbought yet, and the energy is fully charged. So I'm leaning more towards HL and AGQ. HL being my favorite in terms of premium, and then AGQ in terms of technical setup because of the bullish momentum here. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope this helps. One last thing actually I wanted to mention is something I noticed these past couple of weeks as I've been doing my stock analysis is that throughout the week, the names that I have looked at and done setups for, they tend to provide intraday opportunities and overnight opportunities. So if you don't necessarily want to hold a position for 3, 4, 5 days or 6 weeks or whatever it is, you might be able to find some day trading opportunities in these names as well. All right, guys.